Welcome back to another edition of Experience Marshfield. Today, we're very happy to have the Executive Director of MACCI, Scott Larson. Scott, welcome to our program.
Great, thanks for the opportunity. Glad to be here.
So before we get into a
Sure.
lot of what MACCI does for everyone here in Marshfield, just give us a little bit of a background on yourself.
Well, sure. I'm an individual that grew up in this area. I went to school in Pittsville, so I've been around here, and my family's been around here most of my life, and gone for college, and spent about 8 years in East Central Wisconsin running an economic development corporation, and then as our Corey and I's family got bigger, a little older, they wanted the kids to be back here in this area and grow up, and so that's what we've done. And been at the Chamber now 13 years and enjoying it very much, and very pleased to help work with members like you and the other community members, business members here, and try and make Marshfield as best place we can.
So it's very interesting. There's a lot going on right now.
There is.
And it's very interesting, our dynamic, because you and your organization work on bringing business in, so you're really there at our future, our forefront. And of course, we've got to take care of the businesses that we have. And do you know, I still remember when I came in, when I was running for mayor, I came in and I talked to you, and I was all about, can we bring new businesses in? Mm-hmm. I remember just feeling so educated when I walked out, because you said very clearly, no, we do want to bring in new businesses, but what we really want to do is help our current businesses here grow and thrive.
Yes.
It's a big education moment for me.
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
Well, yeah, you're right. The retention aspect is critical here, because if you look at the economic health of the community, all the major employers in this community are all homegrown. They're all homegrown businesses that started small, and yeah, in Clinic, for example, it's been over 100 years, but that was a local business. Mm-hmm. And all of our other major employers are the same circumstance. So while it's nice to go out and recruit in some of these other businesses like a PCA to come and settle and call Marshfield home, that's great, and we certainly don't want to turn those opportunities away, but the real growth is going to come from those existing businesses. So we help those businesses that are already established by continually interacting with them and finding out, what is it that they need in order to be able to keep growing here in Marshfield. And the other things we do is we have a lot of entrepreneurial training and assistance programs that we're working on as well. So we want to grow and help people start new businesses here in the community. And with that, then that creates a very strong, diverse economy here locally, and keeps Marshfield a very vibrant community then.
So what's interesting with that is we have a few different dynamics going on here in Marshfield right now. So one dynamic that I hear all the time is we need to bring new businesses in. Why doesn't this business come here? Or whatever. Can you shed some light on that?
Sure. In a lot of cases, that's retail. It's what type of shopping stores, retail stores do we have? What types of restaurants can we get? And so much of that is driven by the marketplace, meaning what type of demographics do you have? How many people do we have? What are traffic counts? And so a great example was up until a few years ago when we had the smaller footprint Kohl's open up here in town. That was probably one of the biggest stores everybody talked about. Why can't we have a Kohl's store? Well, part of the problem is Marshfield is part of their Plover store footprint and part of their Wausau store footprint. So they're not going to go out and build another store in an area that they're already serving with two other stores. So what has to happen then? It has to be something different for the company, and that's what it was with this smaller footprint store where Marshfield fit nicely into that model that they have. But yeah, I mean, we could have had a building built for them and offered it to them free, and they wouldn't have come, because it just wouldn't make sense for their marketplace and their characteristics of what they lay out as far as the locations that they need to have.
What's interesting is there are a lot of businesses here that a lot of people don't know about. A week or so ago, I had the folks in from Hostreiter Industries. Been in Marshfield since 1988, and he showed me the little shed. I mean, it's literally a little shed that they started with. And I think that a lot of people don't even know that, even though he sells, or they sell product
Yes.
literally all over the world.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting. So a dynamic that we have in Marshfield right now that I don't think it's isolated just to Marshfield, but I believe you can shed some light on this, is it's almost like we have parallel worlds. In one aspect, you've got the closing of Figgies, you've got the closing of Shopgo, the Office Depot.
Right.
You've got those. And so a lot of people see those and they go, oh my gosh,
Right.
where's everything going? What people don't see for some reason is all the companies that are opening up and the employers that we have here, this other parallel world going on, these employers cannot find people to work. That's the biggest, from what I hear in my role, and yours is different, but I'm sure you hear it, is the employers don't have employees to fill their open jobs.
It is, absolutely. It's right now, that's the biggest retardant to our local businesses being able to grow faster, is that they literally cannot find enough workers to meet the demands that they have that would enable them to continue growing faster. And you're right, typically what people hear gets a lot of press are the big store closures. And that's more indicative of the state of big box retail right now, in that with Amazon and online purchases and things of that nature, retail is really going through quite a transformation. So the stores like Office Max, Shopco, and that, those are situations that are national trends that are going on, and that's something with that industry that's working its way through. And you'll see what'll happen is redevelopment coming from that, and their different approach to retail that'll go on. Plus, it provides opportunities for smaller niche retailers to pop up in these markets now, in this community, and be able to serve that niche that's gone away from the loss of those stores. The other thing that's happened with that is, again, it provides new opportunities. So with the closure of Figgies, however unfortunate as that was, we had an opportunity wherein we did 2 job fairs in January and in March to correlate with their layoff schedule. We had 60 companies, mostly local companies, that participated in the job fair because they were looking for positions, and there were 1,000 positions offered at that first job fair in January. In the March one, we had over 70 companies participate, and they had over about 1,500 job positions open. So it was a case that was great for those employees of Figgies who were now in a transition period. There were great opportunities for them to find something here locally. And you mentioned Hastreiter. Great opportunity there. Figgies is gone. They've got facilities here. Hastreiter now purchased their warehouse facility on 29th Street, and they're turning it into their production facility. So they're moving in town and they're expanding, and what a great opportunity. Nelson Jameson bought the Figgies headquarters, so they're turning it into their headquarters, and what a great opportunity for them and for the city that our growing companies, local companies, are continuing to do that. And we had an opportunity open up that we took a loss. It's kind of that old adage of you take lemons and make some lemonade. That's what we were doing here. So now we just got to find a new home or a new owner for that distribution center, and then we'll be in pretty good position.
So, I've done a couple of these shows. I did it with Aaron and Chris Howard, Dan Dargenio, one of the owners over there at the Escape Room, and the Hastreiters. Sure. One thing that was very clear with them is before they opened up their business, they had a big passion to do something, but they also had a pretty fair amount of fear. Do I do this? Am I ready? Is there going to be market share? So for the person watching this show, what kind of support can you give to those entrepreneurs that are looking to bring something, but just a little nerve-wracked?
Sure. Some of the services that we provide are just that, hands-on. You come in, you can meet with our staff. We have professional staff that can assist with those questions. What do I need to do? I've got a great business idea. How do I get that to an operational business? And we can help walk them through every single step of that. We partner with SCORE here, and so we do with the SCORE chapter, there's about 1,000 referral visits a year that are done through the SCORE chapter. The SBDC out of UW-Stevens Point is also a group that we work with and provides assistance. We have the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, which helps to provide tax credits and other assistance to new businesses and existing businesses that are looking to grow. So we just kind of need to meet with that individual and find out what their most pressing need or concern is, and then we can help match them up with either the right individual or the right organization and get them some of the services then and assistance that they need to keep moving their process forward and ultimately getting to that point where they're opening for business.
You know, what I always enjoy when I go to your office right there on Central is the amount of optimism. There's two things when you walk into that office. There's optimism and there is a lot of information.
Yeah.
The staff is always very helpful, very approachable, and you all do a lot for the city, which I think is really incredible. Because I believe that it's a hard thing that you have. You have an incredible amount of knowledge, all the way up here with the real technical aspect. And you've got to have that theoretical as well. And then you get over here with the entrepreneur, you can bridge that gap. Are you seeing more and more, because there's been new energy in business
Sure.
that I've seen, and we'll get to that in a second with the downtown sector, but are you seeing that more and more where people are a little bit more optimistic about business?
Oh yeah, entrepreneurs certainly are. I mean, they see that the economy nationally is doing very well. The state economy is doing really well. Even locally here, minus those stories on the retail closings, but everything else is doing very well. And so it's encouraging to people and gives them a little more ability and a little more fortitude to move forward with that plan and saying, things are pretty good right now. Now might be the best time to try and move forward with my idea. So yeah, it's a pretty optimistic time right now, particularly when it comes to business.
And I believe there's a lot of energy, I guess you would say, in the downtown area.
Yeah.
With so many different, Mojo's opening, 2.5 Cups 4 or 5 years ago, the optometry place, the escape room, Uptown
Right.
Coffee, and a lot of different ones. But I believe a lot of that energy, and correct me if I'm wrong, really stems from when the Wenzel Family Plaza opened up. All of a sudden now, I think people that were out there really looking, do I go into business now? That really kind of catapulted some ideas, if you
Sure.
will. And I see a lot of energy going there. Do you see that as well in the downtown area and in Marshfield in general?
Oh yeah, definitely. And you're right. The plaza has certainly added to the enthusiasm in the downtown, and that was the whole point behind it. I reference back to a 2009 study that was done, and a UW study we had commissioned here for the city. And one of the points that came out of that was that our downtown, what it was lacking at that point in time, was a gathering spot. You also referenced that the Convention and Visitors Bureau also had a study done just a couple of years ago, the Roger Brooks study, and one of the notes that came from that study was, again, have some sort of gathering spot, have some sort of plaza in order to create that mass of people in the downtown. And with more people in the downtown, obviously more opportunities for those stores to do more business, and as they're doing more business, more opportunities open up. They're generating more profits. More entrepreneurs are looking at saying, there's a lot more people downtown here. Now there's more opportunities for me to open a new business downtown here and take advantage of this increase in population in the downtown. The city's been a great partner in this because you've had the facade program that's been going on for a number of years now. That's helped to make our downtown look very vibrant and up to date and appealing and attractive. We've had a number of new property owners like the Howards that have come in and bought up and fixed up properties, making those appealing and strongly searching out for business opportunities like that. So yeah, it's a team effort. There's a lot of people involved in this, and I think you're seeing through all those different efforts that accumulation of end result being, yeah, we're starting to see more vitality, more businesses starting to open up, and more attention to the downtown.
Because at the end of the day, what has to happen is the public here in Marshfield has to support those businesses.
Absolutely.
And you remember a couple of months ago, we got together with the EDB, the MACCI,
Right.
and the utility, Main Street, and several people from the council, which is where Experience Marshfield came up, because a lot of people really love the city, and just from you saying you were out and then you came back, I think that's very interesting. But I think businesses here, some of them, maybe need to retool. I know when I go into Merle Norman, I'm one of those guys. I love my wife dearly. I always go in there on October 22nd because her birthday is the 23rd. I walk in with the blank stare, and when I go in there, I get the experience. And they take me right over to what she would like, and I walk out of there with a beautiful box that I did not wrap. And I believe that's a great experience there. Nuts Deep, I thought they did something brilliant, opening up, a store literally half a mile away, almost you could say competing with themselves. But realistically, it was a brilliant move because, in essence, they doubled their market share for people that didn't want to go into to the establishment. They just wanted to eat their great food at home. Right. And so I think those types of tweaking an already great business model, I think we're going to see more and more of that over the coming years. Do you?
Oh, yeah. I think it's indicative of the fact that we've got some very talented business people here in this community. And what that shows is, particularly Shelley at Merle Norman is aware of what her customer base is, who they are, what they like. So she's able to give you. And that, again, too, is a nice thing about a smaller community like Marshfield. You can have that personalization that takes place that you're probably not going to see if you're in a much bigger urban center. So you've got that special customer service that comes along with it. And yeah, with Lisa and Dewey with Nuts, it's a great opportunity. What you're seeing too in the marketplace is people are on the go, and so they like things fairly quickly. And so yeah, you're exactly right. I don't want to go in and wait and sit down for a meal, but I do want to go grab something. They're known for their food. They do a great job with it, and so the Express is a great opportunity to fill that other niche where, hey, I'm on a go. I don't want to stop someplace, but if I can just run in and grab something and go, that's going to be a great opportunity. And so that's just it. What we try and do too is provide information and those trends to our business people so that they can try and stay on the cutting edge as well. And that's really what it takes, is you just need to make sure you're staying in tune with what the marketplace is wanting.
So with all of this great stuff going on in business, of course we've got the talent issue that we had talked about, and we in Marshfield, of course, have a housing shortage as well. How do we bridge that gap?
Yeah. Great that you brought that up, because talent is one of those issues, one of the goals that is a priority for our organization at the Chamber. It's the biggest issue that all of our business sectors are going through, from the largest of the employers to the largest manufacturers to the small shops in the downtown. They all are faced with this shortage of talent and not being able to hire as many people as they'd like to be able to hire. And that's a nice problem to have in regards that you don't have a lot of people on unemployment and people searching for jobs, so that means people are making money and they're earning, in the most part, good incomes and wages are going up. But the other aspect is that what does that mean from a sustainability aspect? Because if you can't sustain the growth of your businesses and you can't grow more businesses in your area, what's going to happen then? There is no status quo. You just won't stay the same. You're either growing or you're falling behind or you're dying. So we want to avoid that aspect. So it's a major component that we're looking at. So and the housing aspect is critical to that, because and it's again team effort, just like we had with the downtown. Our Convention and Visitors Bureau is going to play a key role in this, because the more visitors that they can attract to Marshfield, every one of those visitors is a potential resident and a potential worker at our businesses. So the more that they can attract here and those people can see what a great community we have, the better opportunity we have to recruit those people as residents and workers here. So we get somebody interested in Marshfield, great, they want to move here, they want to start working here. Next problem, where are they going to live?
Right.
You got to have the housing available in order for them to be able to move here then. As nice as it is, it's still helpful if they take a job here, but if they're not living here, we're not getting the full benefit of that economic impact. So yeah, we want to work very strongly with the city in helping to develop housing incentives so that we can get more housing. Now, we've had a nice job in creating more apartments and more of those short-term housing aspects. Now we've got to refocus again on the single-family residential housing aspect, and I think working together we'll work through that too, and we'll get something squared away with that and be able to offer that. But yeah, beyond that, then we're reaching out beyond. We're working in the region together. We're working with our regional partners to attract people to central Wisconsin, because if we can get them attracted to central Wisconsin, then it's an opportunity for us to attract them to Marshfield. We're also working with state officials to attract people to the state of Wisconsin. Same concept. If we can attract people from within the United States to Wisconsin, internationally to Wisconsin, then attract them to central Wisconsin, then we've got a chance to attract them here to Marshfield. So all of those efforts are underway right now, because as we've looked, there's been lots of studies done now. The trends being projected are horrible right now. We are looking at the only population growth sector that we're projected to have in the next 10 to 20 years is 65 and older. Well, that's not going to be a lot of employees out of that base. So we need to be aware of that and then take action to change that trend line. And so that's the efforts that we're taking right now, is to try and work with all of these other partners to attract more people to this area.
That trend line is very significant, and another one that is as well. You spend all of your time trying to help local businesses get up and running, and another avenue there, and you brought up a little bit earlier, is the fact that a lot of people can stay home online when they're watching their shows at night, and they could do that purchasing. We are all in this together, which means we have to buy local as much as we possibly can.
Right. And I always say when it comes to retail, I kind of call this time now that we're in is the time of Amazon. And so when you can sit at home and literally buy anything at home, if you're a retail store owner, you have to look at that and go, all right, what is going to motivate a customer to get out of their home, out of their comfortable chair at home, and come into my store? And so those are the types of trends and assistance we're trying to make available to the businesses here. Also, it's a case of they all need to make sure that they have some sort of an electronic presence. It is a world of smartphones and online purchasing and online searches, and so you need to make sure that people can find you electronically, and then at least then they can come find you your brick and mortar location. So those are all important trends that need to take place and need to be available, and things that we're trying to help all our businesses understand.
Well, I got to tell you, from the city's perspective, I sure appreciate everything that you do and that your staff does. It's just amazing what you all do, and we are very, very thankful for it. If you would like more information, you can go to the Marshfield Area Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Take a look at everything that they do. They're really there to help you. Having said that, thank you for tuning in to today's version of Experience Marshfield, and we'll see you next time.